The number of cases of autism is on the rise, and since April is Autism Awareness Month, NBC4 is airing a special at 7 p.m. titled The Autism Puzzle, the First Piece. As a preview to the special this evening, Dr. Angela Denny and Melissa Bacon from the Autism Society of America's Central Ohio chapter join me this morning. Ladies, welcome. And I know both of you are parents yourselves of children with autism, and as parents, I know there are parents out there watching and thinking, how did you deal with this? What did you deal? And how did the Autism Society help you? So, Angela, let me start with you. Early diagnosis, everyone talks about that being very important. Is it true?
Yes, it is. When you are on this path as a parent and your child may fall within the spectrum, you really have to have it addressed early, because then it gives you more tools to deal with, to use, so you can work effectively with your child to help them close the gap between the challenges that they may have later on in life.
And I'm sure, Melissa, when you first heard that diagnosis, it wasn't something that you expected.
No, it was not something that we expected.
And if there's someone out there who may be getting this diagnosis or having their child tested, what advice do you have for them if they find out that that's the case?
My advice would be that I'm sure it's very overwhelming right now for them, but they need to know to begin immediately to reach out for services and to get help and try to seek out professional help. The earlier they can get started with their child, the more improvement that they can make, and the more confidence and empowerment they can feel as parents, which will ultimately help their relationship with their child.
And knowing other parents like you who are in the same situation has to be very helpful. And that's what ASA is, isn't it, Angela? It's a grassroots organization, mainly of parents.
Yes, it actually started over 40 years ago. So it's kind of the grandfather of advocacy for the folks with autism spectrum disorders. And but the focus has been the support. And I think one of the main values of this group is it's comprised of a lot of parents that have been on this path. And so if you're a newly diagnosed family, or if you've been in the trenches, as I say, for a while, you have access to a host of folks that have been on this path before you. So you have individuals you can refer to that have preschool-age children, and those who have young adults and older adults on the spectrum. And so it's an abundance of resources that they offer that really...
Well, and I'm sure it's a source of comfort to know that you're not alone, and there are other people who are there going through this that can help. Now, Melissa, besides the comfort factor in holding other parents' hands, can you direct parents to resources? Is that something that the Autism Society Central Ohio chapter does?
Yes, they do. They have resources available to them, and a lot of times, a lot of the phone calls that the local chapter receives are about where to go get services. And the ASA works in conjunction with Ocali and Ocali was on yesterday, a lot of information and online resources for families.
But ASA also works legislatively. And Angela, what that means is you go to the State House. You sort of lobby some of our legislators to try to get more services. Am I right?
Yes, we do. Based on what the needs-based is at the time, different bills have been introduced that help empower the families and so that they can provide effective treatment and interventions for their children to help, again, close that gap so that there's greater independence the older they get.
And that's very important because it doesn't stop. And I know that we talk about the first piece tonight in this special, and that is about early diagnosis, and there will be follow-ups, because when we get to that transition age, and that's where you say they're into adulthood, that's where it can become really sticky. And I know, Melissa and Angela, I don't know who wants to take this question, that's really your next step.
Yes, it is. Transition is always in the background of the folks' minds, of the parents, because we are constantly in a position to think of the next step and how we're going to help them get to that next challenge. And into adulthood, there's a host of issues that have to be addressed and ongoing. Big part of that is support, and ASA is being very proactive in that area.
That's got to be good news for parents. Well, we thank you both for being here. And a reminder tonight, again, that it is called The Autism Puzzle. The first piece airs tonight at 7 p.m. But also a reminder, our call 4 lines will be open beginning at 4 p.m. to answer your questions about autism. And Angela, I know you'll be on some of those phone lines to take those phone calls this evening. So we appreciate you being here today and also to answer the phones for us this evening.
My pleasure.
Thanks, ladies. Nice to meet you both.
Thank you.